so fundamental for him. And then stepping through the travel vehicle of character, the Bobby Robert Nadeau sequence, and seeing that as a pathway or as a way to access or become more sensitive to your original self. And that requires, at a certain point, not attaching too strongly to these characters that you've sort of recognized in yourself. All right. So we all have these multiple characters, depending upon the situation, and we can get really attached to them. This is who I am. This is what I do. This is who I am. This is what I do. And what Sensei is saying is that this progression gives us more visibility, more access to experience our original self, but that requires us to not hold on too tightly to the characters of our own characters that we recognize our self-identity. Right. So it's subtle stuff, and I certainly can't explain it very well, but that's what we talked about when we came up with the theme for tonight. And you know, as always, your feedback and your questions and your comments are what really steers the conversation and what Sensei thrives on. So if you don't have a question, ask your other self. So I think he'll be here just momentarily. A few more people are still coming in. Well, it certainly is a lively crowd. Everybody's fully muted. Can't hear you, Sassoon. You're speaking, but we can't hear. Can't hear you.
I'm just sound checking. You got me, right?
Got you, Richard.
Is Bob close? Does anyone know?
Bob is close.
I'm here.
Bob is here. There is Bob. Good
Hello.
evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Okay, let's see. Teacher's out tonight. Is Autumn on? Autumn?
Yes.
She
Yes.
is.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, I heard you're on the sick list. But you're here.
Yeah, I've got the COVID.
Yeah, I told you to stay out of airports, didn't I?
Yeah, that's what they say.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, you had a great question in the way you were heading last time. So we'll pick up on that after a bit. Stay alert. I'll call on you.
Copy that.
Okay. just to warm up a little bit. What did we do last time? Somebody, give us a quick rundown. What did we do last time?
2 weeks ago, we talked about enhancing the character.
With the third quality? Is that what this one is?
Yes,
Yeah, okay,
yes, exactly.
okay. So, people, you've had a couple of weeks there to play and process, and any comments about the last session's work? You've had so much experience now. Tell me about it. Oh, Carl. No one's going to jump
I
in.
guess I'll start off our conversation. It's Justin. I've been working with the down and up, full down, full up, balancing the down and the up, and settling into different levels of down, slow. And recalling something you brought to the table some weeks back about using that a moment to sort of pause as you're coming up to kind of like a slow half beat on the up or down to gain a sense of like a solid core power there. But
Yeah.
in that balance moment between full down and up at a level, feeling experiencing a deeper level 2. I've really just gone 1 and full 2 up down, but pausing and hanging in the core balance for a moment.
Okay, a couple of things there. One thing I'm doing with a balance is I'm playing balance as a he and a she breathing, okay? So if you use whatever form you're using, in and out or up and down, depends if you're circular type or center type at first, that you get more balanced. And the balance now breeds, mixes a better character. So the extra beats that I'm using, so you did your up and down, got a certain level of balance, fine. And now one more, and this is because of the up and down, there is a character being bred, the new baby here, Robert as opposed to Bobby, and up and down, and the more the fuller of the character being here, although he's still a young child for a while, you have to pump him a bit, he grows real fast. But that's how I use that extra count on that beat. So it's not just more up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. Someplace I say at this level of up and down or in and out, now the character feeling the up and down and being the character. So maybe a little bit different than you sort of presented. Yeah. You understood the little angle I put on that?
Yes, I did. Thank you, Sensei. I really love that there's a moment to sort of pause and soak at that level.
Well, you're being bred. Give
And
birth to yourself.
Mm.
Yeah. As opposed to that's my mommy, that's my daddy, that's my mommy, that's my daddy, that's my mommy. That's good. That's good. Now they're sort of holding hands or something. Okay, a certain level of harmony between them. Now, bing, 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 bing starts the sex act. Bear with me, people. It's Nado talk. Bing, and up and down, and here I am. You say, yeah. Anyway.
thank you, Sensei.
Yeah, thank you. Oh boy. Also, I want to. Do I want to bring it up now? What I want to do and might fit in here is yes, up and down or in and out, depends which style you're using. Let's stay with the in up and down. My first favorite style because I'm a center type. That I get enough balance, pretty good level, okay, Robert, not oh, whatever. And then I want to go to the underworld, and start to tap a different quality. So I've got my up and down, or I've got my two qualities as a normal human being. So whether you're in and out, you get, say, two qualities, normal human being. Okay. But in this underworld that people are often leery of, there is the source of a third quality. So I want to start to mix up a threesies instead of a twosies, two qualities, but I want to get that third one in there. Don't know if I should be bringing that up now. Maybe I'm just lost tonight.
Please continue, Sensei.
Huh?
Please
I'm sorry.
continue on the idea of three qualities, third quality.
Yeah, third quality. The sort of, for most people, the quality that they haven't connected with. Well, we'll go over a couple of stories here. Have other people talk. Let's see. Gotta watch my time, you know. Where am I? Bing, 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 bing. Bear with me. I may be a little confused tonight. So much going on over here in my universe. Anyway, Noah, you're on, right?
Yes, that's it.
Okay. I think we can cover two things here. Go over that story where you, a normal two quality person, basic Robert Noah, okay?
Okay.
And you went into the underworld a bit,
Yes.
right? Because you heard that there's another quality there.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
When it began to show up, it showed up as a negative initially.
Yes, that's a fear of the underworld and how it first appears. Good. Go.
It felt kind of like a sort of like an oily, kind of sludgy material trying to come up in my system, which initially was not a desirable experience.
Right. So people don't want to hang out with the underworld because for many at first it's like, that's icky stuff. Monster territory. Okay. Go ahead.
But knowing that that was not the case, based on our training over the years, I continued to invite it in, and it began to get smoother and have some nutrient qualities to it, as well as expanding the size of the space.
Okay. So basically in his settling, he was opening, having a sense of moving into a finer dimension. Okay. Where that was oily and icky can show its true colors, where it started to be, what would you say, beneficial, what, nicer,
It
what?
began to feel like it could lubricate parts of the system and feed parts of the system.
Yeah. Okay, so being fed, being lubricated, hey, that's not bad. I'll allow that. So in allowing that quality, that third quality, you got your first two basics, Robert Noah, and here's this third one. You dealt with the underworld pretty good so far. Okay. And here's this third quality, and it's beginning to mix. So all three qualities are now mixing. It's going to be I call it enhanced. It's a good phrase, enhanced Robert Noah. With this third quality and that mix now, what do you got, or who are you? Is that
I'm a person who's not afraid to be seen and to shine.
okay? So if one has been a little too shy or holding back, suddenly it's okay to be here. It's okay to be seen. It's okay to be heard, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Could you give another name to that character? He who shines is a different, but go
Person
ahead.
who isn't afraid to express his truth clearly and specifically.
Okay. See, where are we here? Are we okay so far? D. Okay, and then here, as he's starting to get a flavor for this third quality and playing with it and mixing and being, okay? All right.
Yes.
Then he starts to get a storyline, an image, some sense that this quality has been here before, historically, past lives, and he passed on those qualities then.
Correct.
So going over the reason this was late in the game is because historically you sort of held it down. So you got your first earlier two that are easy, make up Robert Noah, but this one has been held down historically, and you gave it a chance to show it was there, beginning to catch the real benevolence of it, the enhancement of it, whatever word you want to use there. And your
That's right.
stories that appeared right there, historical stories,
Yes, that's right.
past
You-
lives.
That's right. Yeah, one was of a monk in Italy in the 12th century. And I began to have certain capabilities, especially with healing, that attracted people's attention. And I wasn't going to go for that.
All right. So there it was held down. And there was another one, another showed two lives, I think.
Another one later on, where I was kind of like a squire to a knight. So you're like cleaning the horse and the armor and whatever. I don't know what squires do, but whatever. And some of the other knights said, you could be a knight. And I said, no, I can't do that. I'm not knight material.
Where I'm heading here is that I'm saying the self is starting to show here and show more about him. Bringing up, here's a couple of examples of when you pass on that quality historically and why you passed or whatever. So the self is there trying to guide Robert Noah into being Sir Robert Noah or whatever. Okay. So the self is there and has the memory, the retention of all those previous lives. Okay. And is a guide on, a mentor, some other words I forget right now, to facilitate characters developing. As characters develop, self continues to be able to show the more of itself. So they start to work in tandem. Better self, better character potential if you exercise and pump the pump and stuff, or mix the mix, whatever, and be the character. Self is better, character is better, character is better, self is better. Did I say that okay? And did I time that out right?
Yes, Sensei, one example of why you're right is at least going from being a monk to a knight, I was a squire rather, I was out in the world interacting with people, whereas before I wasn't even doing that.
Yeah. Also, we get a better sense. You had another life. We talked about this many years ago. Templar.
Knight Templar.
You were a Knight Templar. You can see the kind of combination here with this.
That's right.
Kind of a historical pattern from, not that he didn't have other kinds of lives, but you see sort of the pattern. Oh, there was a Knight Templar. Oh. Anyway. And Autumn, we may have touched on your question with parts of that this better the character, the better the self, but don't jump in yet. I'll check back with you soon. But I think you started to bring that up. Okay, where are we? People, are you okay with Noah's story? I thought it laid out fairly well. Did I hear it right? Did you hear it? Y'all okay with that? Any questions about that process?
I Sensei,
Dusty, go.
I have a question. I think it's kind of similar to what other people have said, but like I was working on that 2 beats before Christmas when you did it.
Hmm.
And one of the qualities that I kind of go back to, I don't know if it's like a main 4 quality, but I get a lot of anger. So I have a chance to practice it. One of the things that gets me angry is I like to be on time. So when other people are late, like making me late, I get angry. So I was like, okay, just relax. What else is there? And what came to me was strength.
Yeah.
There's a strength below that.
Hmm.
And so I've been sitting there with that for a couple weeks, but I'm just wondering, like, well, when do I know to like go to the third, another stage, or mix something else in there? Like once.
I would keep developing the first one. Then you get a little bit of it, and then you move on to another one, and you might move too fast.
Yeah.
You might
I mean, I
move.
heard you say that to me right away with strength. I was like, well, just sit with that for a while. So now I've been doing that, but.
And let's word, so anger. I told you my story. You forgot already, people. You forget too soon. I'm an angry type. I told you about my t-shirt. Vulture saying to another vulture, I'm bored. Let's go out and kill something. And I love that t-shirt. It's probably still in my drawer someplace. I love it. Never wear it, but I love it. And I said, shit, I can't live my life with this kind of potential anger. I am going to kill somebody and I don't want to go to jail, whatever. I'm too handsome, remember? So I sat with it and I sat with it and I opened and I sat with it. And it went through all the series of fiery. Oh, yeah, fiery. That's why cartoonists would do a fiery thing when somebody's getting angry, okay? And on and on and on. And as I continued, it wasn't angry. I got to a place of where it was just power, but it had no agenda to hurt anybody. It was just power. And if I had continued into finer dimensions, it would have shown power, and it would show, something nicer to really balance it out beautifully. So that's the pattern. So to stay with something into finer and finer for a while. I don't know if there's a set rule you got to do, a year on that one and then a year on the next one. I don't know if there's a pattern, but I'm worried about you jumping here and jumping there, just getting a little piece of it and jumping a little fast. I'd stay with one for a while. And really, once you get the fullness of one, then when a different one comes in, you kind of have a sense of how to get to the fuller of that one. Yeah, if you just do a little bit of this one and the next one comes in, you do a little bit, and next one. Yeah, but it's bigger, it's fuller. There's more of each one of those, is all I'm trying to say. Okay? Yeah.
Good.
But good work, sounds like, yeah. Yeah. And we'll fit the time in, and the why time, shortness of time irks you. But I don't want to go into that right now, if that's okay. Another time. Where are we? Okay, what about Steve? Okay, what caught me on, I forget. What caught me on Bob's layout, something I've been mulling on anyway for a bit, is with this third quality, I'm saying 2 qualities are basic. Basic Mr. Noah, basic Bobby, Robert, not Noah, whatever, basic, okay? Start to touch a third quality and include that in the game. And right there, in Bob's case, suddenly there's past lives very clearly explaining things. I say, that's the self. The self carries all the history, has access to all of that, knows you very well because it's always been there. Okay. Where am I going? Okay, that the self came in. Okay. Now let's shift. Steve, I talked to you for a moment today.
Yeah.
And repeat your story here.
Well, some of it really connects with what Bob was talking about. I haven't yet tapped the past life aspects of it, but early childhood aspects.
Okay, start the story from the beginning. You're sitting there. What are you playing with?
Okay, so I'm playing with going deeper, going underneath the dark, and going through all that, which I've always been fairly comfortable with, but it's, you still have to hang out with it and go through it. And I was getting not as clear as, say, the other more accessible qualities, but it was something that was glowing, that was almost like I'd see a trophy, something like I was a champion, I was victorious.
Let me slow you down. So in settling in the underworld, he went through some dark. You didn't say that. Tell the story nicely, Stevie. You went through some dark. In a certain amount of dark, you hit a floor or a pool or something. And there, from that level, something golden, what? Go ahead now.
Yeah, so something that started to show, which was, I really couldn't latch on with a very succinct word like I could with the other two qualities, but it was something very promising, something victorious. Like I would see an image of a trophy that seemed to indicate victory. And so I wasn't bothered. I knew eventually something's going to explain itself, but what it took me back to was from early childhood. I really remember this very well. I was a firstborn child in my family. I was a firstborn grandson, and in a sense had aspects of a golden boy. I had a lot of things I felt like they were going for me, but I recall being real resistant, not wanting to be the center of attention, not wanting to be shown off by my mom as somebody special, and that whole notion of hiding my light behind a bushel. And so that came up, and it really touched me that this was going back to that time, and it was obvious that I had pushed whatever that glowing victory was. I pushed it down.
Can we call it a quality now?
Yeah, I just don't have the
That
specific
was a
words.
quality. The beginning image was whatever golden cup kind of thing.
Yeah.
You sit, settle, let it a little bit more. It explains itself, and you get to experience it more. It's a quality. So that quality, he then remembered from childhood, was also held back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So as I'm tapping this more, there's an excitement about this because, I used to, it would cross my mind that I knew I did this early on, but I didn't think much of it. It was just a thought that would come from time to time. But now it's like saying, hey, pay attention to this. This is very important. Yeah. And so as I'm opening to this, it's very exciting.
Yeah. Okay. And here now, could I say lesser, not being a negative word here, but a lesser form than Bob's. Okay. Bob got into reincarnation times, but you got into childhood. And I'd say the same thing here. What I'm trying to present is there some relationship between getting three qualities? I call that the triangular person, three qualities, where self shows better there. In Noah's case, it showed that it was there by going through these images, whatever, of past lives, the experience of past lives. In Steve's case, it showed his childhood when he squashed this one down or wouldn't allow this one. But is that self trying to guide again? To improve the character, you need this third quality. Now, unfortunately, it was misunderstood in a past life, and you squashed it down and stayed away from it. And here in childhood, you squashed it down. It'll be interesting as he continues with this process, better self, and it'll probably show a past life where he squashed that one down and why he squashed it down, what the misunderstanding was. Okay. Anyway, I hope you're following my dialogue. I think, Steve, you finished there? Is that good enough?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That this third quality, I call it the enhancer, that we have two qualities, basic, okay? And to go deeper and get this third one. And then the mix is much bigger, okay? When I used to do a 4-square pattern for different things, Noah, you were around then, I believe. We did
Yes,
it on
Sensei.
movie scripts and stuff. And
That's
I
right.
did it on business guys and guys that had two qualities were good businessmen, basic businessmen, okay? But guys who had three qualities, they were starting to be a bit special. For lack of words, they were on the cutting edge. You knew they were special. You keep your eye on that guy. In fact, if he was going to start a company, you might say, gee, I think I'd like to be an early investor and throw a few bucks his way because there's something special there. Okay. And then the big time CEOs, the big names, seem to have four things going on for them. Did that make sense in this context? Yeah. So we'll come around another time, maybe next time, and play with entering the underworld and playing easy with the quality. We'll keep it simple. I think it sounds like it's time to go over that again, take advantage of that. But again, I think what I'm saying is, gee, and this is more of a question I'm throwing out at you. When you start to play with the 3Z's pattern, that the self seems like it's there clearer. Okay. Does that mean that a basic 2-person is going to have trouble picking up self? I'm not saying that. Maybe it's a little harder. I don't know. But the 3Z, suddenly it seems to be there. So Noah says, I get down a bit, I get the third quality, and bing, I'm into past lives. And I know that's self's territory. Okay. And Steve's case, a little bit lesser, but childhood memory. Okay. So just something to file away. I don't know. You play. That's your job. Okay. Where the hell are we? Where are we? Somebody, any comments up to this point? Help me before I go mad over here.
Sensei, it's Amy from Oakland. I have a question for you.
Amy Oakland, yes, ma'am.
I missed last week, so I didn't catch up, unfortunately. But I had a question about, you're talking about 3Z's. Are we saying that it's 3Z's, or is there a fourth realm? Because I feel like I feel like I hit a monster, and
well, of course you did. If you're going to play, there's going to be a monster for most people. Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
But is that
Go
like
ahead.
in the third level, or is that like a fourth quality? Does it matter?
No, it's not a fourth quality yet.
Okay.
We'll take it slow. You first start to go under, you're going to bump into the next one, which we'll call the third one.
Okay.
Is there a fourth one? Let's hold that off for a bit.
Okay.
Let's get a great 1, 2, 3Z's going here. That's an enhanced character. It could be kind of really special. As I mentioned,
I was exploring it all last week. It was pretty profound.
What monster did you bump into, by the way?
Well, it was interesting because we talked last time about it possibly becoming through a dream. Someone mentioned dreams.
Yeah.
And I had this really intense dream, and then kind of processed through the dream, like thinking back about the dream. And it was there was a lot of stuff, kind of like a broken house holding me back. So there was a lot of this holding back. No, I don't know if I could actually name what the monster, I could name what the monster is, but I don't know if I can name the
I
quality.
don't know. The holdback monster. Okay, we'll keep it simple.
Yeah, the holdback monster. And I was talking to my mom, and I asked her, I'm like, was there something in my childhood that happened? Because why am I like this? And it always comes up. It's like that repeated quality that always keeps coming back. And she said, she said that when I was a kid, I was bossy.
Mm.
And I thought, what's bossy? And I was recollecting about your story that you used to tell about the kid who was trying to dive and the father called it fear. So he
Your
labeled
fear,
it fear.
because you're shaking a little bit up there. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like, oh, that's kind of a negative. So I was wondering, like, what's the opposite of bossy? And it was more like, it was coming up like, oh, there's assertiveness. There's like bringing forth my true
I've seen that in your
self.
Aikido, by the way, dear.
Oh, really?
How many times have I seen that? It looks good in the Aikido form, by the way,
Oh, yeah.
when it's on. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was more.
Question your technique when it's not there.
Yeah.
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 Go
So
ahead.
that was the other thing. I was doing body work, like trying to do some kettlebell things, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't. It was like I was caught in the wrist and focused on not being able to do it. So once I realized this monster and kind of expanded and got a different perspective, I was able to perform a lot better because
Yeah.
I allowed it to a truer nature of myself to be there.
So if we allow this third quality
Yeah.
and we actually make sure it's being mixed, not just, oh yeah, I understand. That's not good enough. It's got to be, got to pump the pump for a bit, you know?
Yeah.
Got to exercise that.
Yeah.
And then we'll go exercise with the weights, but we got to exercise that.
Yeah.
That's part a lot of people miss. They're so smart. I understand, but they
Right.
don't exercise. It's like, ah.
Right. I don't want to lose this one because this one's powerful.
But when you get that 3Z starting to be there fuller and fuller, then you become more capable. Whether you're going to lift weights or what the hell your job is. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Which we should go over again when autumn comes on, because that's a
Yeah.
good piece here.
Okay.
Is that it? Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Are you following us, this discussion? Are we okay? Where the hell are we? Self. Okay, easy the eye. Okay, what we're playing with, there's our basic, Bobby. Easy, settle, open, basics. Get to the next dimension. The energy mix there mixes up Robert. Okay, I'm working a 2 count there, right? Robert, better. Easy. Move into Nado level, more space, finer dimension. The energies are finer, mix up a better Nado. Okay. Now, someplace here or soon, we're on track. A self, especially if you kind of, I don't know, prodding it. I don't know the phrase here. Okay, easy. I feel pretty good. Here's Nado, easy, settle, and self. I heard tell I have a self, or there's a self here. Self. Could you show yourself, make yourself known here? Something to sort of spark what? The communication of character to the self that's there. So I don't think Bobby can do it because this, okay, let me go earlier. Sorry. We're in a vortex. Our creation, we're in vortex system, tighter, heavier, back, finer. Okay, a vortex. In this vortex that we got caught into, the self also got vortexed. So at a Bobby level, the self is sort of wrapped around Bobby's, my imaging of it. So it's not a clear enough self. Easy, Robert. The self is still there wrapped around Robert, but there's a little more what? Room? Okay. But I still, if I say to Robert, do you know what self is? And I'd say, well, Robert, self, myself, Robert. Okay, so still wrapped in there a bit. Eventually, whether the third move or the fourth move, eventually, as we easy the I, the wrappings, easy, the self is clear from that entanglement of into Bobby, Robert, Nadeau, hopefully not Sensei, has a sense of itself. It's itself self. Okay, so that easy the I is my trick that I'm trying to present to get to the self that's there, that's always been there. That's a very cool piece of the universal puzzle that we're in. Okay, because it's a guide on to the character. If Nadeau says self, I would like to become a better character. Self can guide me, can say, well, this quality, that quality, do settle down a bit more, open a bit more, whatever. We can establish a real good communication with self, and self is a guide on, self is a mentor. Just some other words, but they're basically that. Okay? Where the hell? Okay, so characters in developing go the distance. Okay. Be careful when I do something like introduce self, you say, oh, screw the character, self. Yes, it's important as hell, but characters also are. How to say this? It's a continuation of certain pieces. Space is a continuation. Finer space, easy. Inner sense of finer space or dimensions, okay, is ongoing. It'll go the distance, let's say. Character, Bobby, Robert, Nadeau, Sensei. Soon you bump into archetype characters. Okay, that's a continuation. It goes the distance. Our characters go the distance. Okay. O-sensei at a very, very, very fine level of O-sensei had a character there. All right. I don't know if he made this known to the public. Lauren, you aware of anything about O-sensei's character at this fantastic level he was at? Doesn't ring any bells for you? Yes, no?
I've heard people talk about how fantastic he was, or
No, his calling of his own character.
just the classic, Aikido no Shiba. I mean, he would say that,
Okay.
Sensei, he would talk about himself as the golden Maitreya Bodhisattva.
right. But what I was going to say is that when he
that's an archetype along the way in his calling, I would say, but he had a final one that he liked. Really getting, that's okay. It's okay. Pass. It's all right. Anyway, characters go the distance. Space goes the distance. Self goes the distance. The qualities that mix up, the energies that are there, go the distance, finer and finer and finer. So certain things go the distance, the important things. Space, qualities, character, self, go the distance. Okay. Does that come across all right? Kind of an important part of the map here. And again, careful. Oh, I understand the map, but you got to exercise in there. You got to pump the pump. You got to experience the experience. Just knowing about it, nice, important. Step one. Now you got to play. More experience. You got to be that's being experienced. Okay.
Sensei, when you say, go the distance, I want to just make sure I understand it correctly. It's the sense that there's great depth. There's always more. That
There's an origin.
point, and you can take another step further. It's a way, it's a path. It's not a certain thing that you reach a level and you're done. It just
Well, people
seems repeating. That's what.
But see, unfortunately, along the way, people get to a nice level and they stop because they're superior. I've arrived.
Right.
Okay.
So
Or they don't know the pieces. They see a nice quality. That's a really nice quality. And they say, oh, I'm experiencing this quality. I've arrived. It's like, Jesus, it's only one quality, and we have to bring it back to the origin. The path, this vortex thing, the journey we're on, it's getting finer and finer and finer with all of these pieces being experienced to the source, the beginning. I don't know, I gotta be careful of the words here. You're, oh God. I'm gonna say you as a God. I gotta be careful here, but back to the origin of you. Okay. The Christ place, the where O-Sensei is about now place. This very, very original and the experience that's there. What should we call that? The source? Back to the source?
We could some people call it the original soul.
Well, the original soul is the self that's come back to, yes, it's a more original. O-Sensei loves that word original. The original space, the original character, the original self. Yes, original infers what? Back to the beginning?
Yeah,
The fantastic beauty of things. Yeah. We get a little bit of a hint when we go from a 1 by 1 to a 3 by 3. Whoa, pretty good. To a 4 by 4. Whoa, I'm special. People look up at me in the world, I make more money than anyone else. Whoa. Where am I going with that? Oh, that the beginning is some ultra perfection something. You have to get there and experience it, but it'll be a nice journey once you catch on to a few tricks, know how to do it fully along the way. Could be, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But that's the journey. See, we sort of got screwed up a certain way in getting vortex so tight. I ended up being a human. Okay. And the stupidity and the stuff we do at a certain level, got to unwind from that, move into finer dimensions and finer and heading towards, again, Sensei loves the word, more original. He says, after a while, stop it with the finer because you have the ability of going more original. And I won't explain that anymore. You do with it what you will. Yes, finer dimensions, finer, finer, finer. Certain point, enough. Now more original, more original. What the hell does that mean to you? And I've got nothing more to say there. Where are we?
Sensei, is that where the trade-in comes in?
Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry.
Is that where the kind of like trade-in or the like easy the eye
Okay.
methodologies come in? When
Okay.
you've got a really, really solid character. I mean, as like you've evolved a little bit into other realms, dimensions, and you're in like, okay, I'm in an Ado or an Ado Sensei even, or
Good
what
day,
have you.
bad day, fair day, good day.
Right.
Keep it simple.
Then is there as that's developing, the self is also developing, and the self has those healing qualities that can also improve the character even just a percentage or two more, right?
Okay. Careful how you speak. Your voice blurs on me a little bit over here. So speak
Mm.
something so it's just, so it doesn't blur on me. Otherwise, I have to check with Brad and say, what'd she say? Okay,
So you've
what-
got a good a fair day. Yes.
Okay.
And there's the trade-in.
Okay, now we're trading in for the next dimension where it's good day country.
Yes.
In that country, the energies, qualities there will mix up a good day person. I'm having a good day. It is a good day. I'm enjoying the hell about it. Good day.
And at the same time, the self is evolving with you.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think we said it fairly clearly a little while ago here tonight that seems to be, or there is a relationship at a certain level when you all catch and get more experience with self, that self has a lot of knowledge or something that it feeds to you. Okay. And I think it's also going on in good dreams that's happening, but different discussion right now. But self is there. Okay, well, self, because it's you, right? Would like you, the character, to develop because you're part of the journey. Okay. As you develop, self, don't know the word, develops along with it. They're in what's the word? They're in mutual
Tandem.
tandem. Thank you. They're in tandem after a bit. Yeah. Is that okay, people? Is that?
Yeah. And then kind of is there, because they're running parallel, right? Maybe not parallel, but kind of what you're talking about.
In
with the
relation.
triangle.
In
Right.
relation, could we say? Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a relationship happening, and maybe is that where the triangle comes in?
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Triangle, the way I'm using it here, is the character being able to be an enhanced or better character. Now, the basic character, let's say, works off of two qualities. Basic you. Okay? But we need you at a better level than a basic you. Okay? You know that. We need you to be special, right? You know that. I'm talking to her now, but also talking to everybody. You all know you ought to be special. You all sort of think you're special. Anyway, here's how to be special. So this third quality enhances, mixes up a much, much better character. Okay.
And then as this kind of self, the more original self is evolving, and you're able to I don't know if it's tap into it or allow it to come through, because the character is.
Okay. When you say tap into, are we talking about self? I got lost there.
Yes.
Okay.
So you're.
Let's say it's there.
Okay. Yeah.
Self is there. My first sense of self I liked was it's its own thing. Okay, once we get this clear separation from the I, from self that's wrapped up in an I, Bobby and shit, and realize, holy shit, it's its own thing. Okay, it has its own flavor, its own texture. Let's say, I like a piece of glass. I always sort of wish I had a piece of glass just to put that here's a character. Now I put the piece, and there's the self right there. Okay, it's in tandem with. I don't like for you to be thinking of you, meaning anybody, you, the world, to be thinking of a self as some kind of hovering spiritual being. I'd like to put it better here now. so that also the communications from the self to the character include, I don't know what to say, all the directions. No, it's not right. But if it's just an idea, you may kind of not catch that it's an energy mix character. Is that coming out right?
Can you
Anyway,
say it
here
again in a
and now.
different way? That feels really important.
Yeah.
One more time.
Well, maybe we could look at self as a frame, character as the picture in the frame. As the character improves, the frame has to say, holy shit, I got to get a bit bigger here to assist the picture to be better, because I want the picture to get better, because it's part of the trip back to our origin. Character, self, the more space that's there, the qualities that mix up energies, that mix up, all are important pieces on our journey back to who the hell we really are. Okay, before I forget, talking to you personally. Wow. I think you can work the mix of the character a bit better. I think you haven't been exercising quite enough with character development. Okay. I think, and maybe this third quality, if you're not aware of it or something, but anyway, do catch it quickly, which you can do. What word am I using? Enhance, the enhancing. Get this third quality to enhance the character even more. She should be from inner stronger. Okay?
Okay.
As if you haven't been exercising enough, so you're a little soft or weak. I'll exaggerate, eh? So soft and weak. Okay? We need a little better character. That's the mix. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Sensei.
Yeah. So we'll get a better character just improving whether you use an in and out beats or an up and down beat, we'll get a better character. Now we're getting more advanced, and I'm saying in the underworld, a lot of people don't tap. No big deal to learn a few tricks. It's great territory. We'll tap this third quality that sources from there, comes from there. Yeah. And we'll get a better mix. We'll get this triangular guy mix, whatever you want to call it, the enhanced one mix. And exercise with pump to pump, not an idea concept. We start with that. I lay it out on a map, but you're not finished because I laid out on the map. You, if you're interested, have to get in there and settle and open and pump the pump. Experience that, not just know about that. Experience it. Careful, this son of a gun up here is sharp. He's thinking about it and he'll think he's having an experience, which is not the experience. I don't know how to say it any better, but you got to double check that. This is historical misunderstanding, okay, of the upper heaven, God's up there. Oh, and they miss the whole under half of things. And you can't go the distance doing that. You can't go to the end result doing that. System won't let you. So let's catch on now to the fuller of things. Fuller, the fuller. Okay. One of those sensei's job was to try to introduce the under. But it was bad times to introduce the under. And so again, of World War II, death and destruction all over the place. And the Japanese inherently, you think we're bad. They have an extra about the underworld. Monster land. Don't deal with that. Don't open up to anything there. Monster land, evil spirits. We're bad. I think they're even a little bit worse. So he said, He had a lot of trouble there because it was a bad time to be presenting this. Yeah. So he did little things to try to show him. He said, what do you why do you think I taught him Swadiwaza? Try to get him to be at the floor and to open up to a little deeper, hoping that in opening up to a little deeper, they'd catch the enhancement factor, a bit of a quality there. Okay. And probably they didn't get very far. They went a little bit to where they could walk around on their knees fast. Typical people. Typical. Here's the beginning of a fantastic potential. Wow, journey beingness. And it's like, oh, look at me. I can hop a little bit better than anybody on my block. I've arrived. Excuse me. Certain things piss me off, as you may have noted. Anyway, Autumn, are we okay up to this point? Yeah. And remember, you've got a very good self. So your sense of self and its presence shouldn't be hard for you because you started off good with this.
I I think what I'm learning or relearning maybe is that the character is allowing me to do a lot more grounding and creating a space for the self to show up.
Yeah. Let's see, I thought I'd reword that, but yes. Better the character. Yeah, as you get more grounded and whatever, okay? Better character, yeah? And let's say right there, we say, okay, I'm better grounded. I'm feeling stronger, whatever, okay? And then you say to the self, okay, could you guide me on to my next development? It's the guide on.
Mm.
And then we'll learn to, now you're going to have different forms of how you hear, how you're being instructed by yourself. For example, some basics for me are, I often get pictures, okay? Bob, in your past life thing, were you getting pictures of the squire?
Yes.
Yeah. So you might see little movies, so to speak, okay? You might sort of hear words, not that you hear them in your ears, but you can hear them, okay? There's a sensing. Let's see, one of my historical stories. I was just doing basic meditation stuff, and at the end of the meditation, I said, "Reincarnation exists," and with this strong feeling, yes. And then I said, "Well, wait a minute. How do I know this? Nothing happened in the meditation to point this out to me. I just suddenly knew." And there's, how do I know? Self was talking to me. And I just had this sense, this knowing sense out of seemingly nowhere. Did that come across all right? Many years ago, my history, anyway. Okay, so different ways self communicates, or you hear self communicating. Imagery, you hear things, a sense experience, and my added words there, that you sort of can't prove, but you just know. It's like, no matter what happens, you know it, and you'll always know it. Okay? It's like within your system, it can't be disproved. So what do you want to call that? Sense knowing, sense communication? I don't know what to call it. Remember, keep your basics in mind. Idea? No. Thinking, feeling, finer feeling, sensing, sense experiencing. That's still valid here. Okay? So if you just think about what self is saying, big screw up. You try to feel what self is saying, it's a little heavy still. Finer feeling, let's say still too heavy. Easy. Beginning to sense. Ooh, right around in there, a sense. But maybe not clear yet. Easy. Finer sensing. And there should be much clearer, much clearer, much clearer. Did I lay that out all right? Okay. Let's put it this way also. If I end up as Bobby tomorrow morning, stupid Bobby, and I say, okay, self, what do you have to say? I don't think Bobby, if he hangs on to being Bobby, can really get anything. Gotta be a little, ah, ah. So, okay, remember, I'm getting pretty fast because I practice a lot, but it can be that fast. But don't say, okay, I'm going to be fast. Self, what are you saying? And then you make up shit stories because you're mentally fast, but you haven't, ha, 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 to that level. Okay. So self is there. Self is a guidon, the mentor. I think a lot of people, when they say God told me, they're referring to the self. Okay, that's a little bit big. God told me to. For me, a little bit big. Okay, so you guys who like to say the commie told me, yeah, but I don't know. Bunch of butterflies running around talking to me. I don't know. Self. You don't know what a self is? Go through your level of Bobby, Robert, Nadeau. Easy, let them go and see what's there. After a bit, it's there. That's why I think I used to practice dying, cut my wrist, sit, practice bleeding to death. Think, well, I got laundry to pick up. Come on, Nadeau, you're dying. There's no laundry, you know. So I would try to really clear from a character. Okay, and not move into another character, just clear from that character. So totally. Only thing there was self. Okay. I always like the idea of pouring a bucket of acid so the body just totally disappears. Okay. And not to move on to quote an astral plane, but just now what here? Referring to self. Okay. So kind of dumb, but you see what I was trying to do and where I was going with that. So self is there, it's constant. Again, I like the positioning of self. Okay. Keep it in the here and now. Remember, we're in a vortex. Let me see if this does it. This heavier dimension, finer next. We're in this vortex, so comes in tighter, heavier. Okay, we easy. We're moving into the next set. Okay, easy. So following that vortex and that dimensionality practice and a couple of tricks of how to move from to from to how to move from a bad day to a fair day to a good day, how to move from Bobby to Robert and Nadeau, okay? How to move from a 1x to a 2x to a 3x. All the same story, just different angles on it. Some people might like the Bobby, Robert, Nadeau style. Others might like the 1x, 2x, 3x style. Others might like the bad day, fair day, good day, great day style. Whatever. I've laid out the basic scheme. Whatever form do you want to do that scheme? Okay. All right. Don't be dumb. See, For example, a lot of those senseis wordings and stuff are bizarre. I mean, bizarre. They're bizarre in Japanese, you know. Once I catch, it was something important, but how he would describe it was like, okay, I really can't catch that description. Okay. But I know at this point, something important is happening. So I'd be prepared for that something important at that point. I wouldn't try to mimic everything because that was his wording, his style. I don't know if I said that well. Yeah. Anyway, so see, where am I? Vortex, thing, dimension. Oh, that might be hard for this first unit to catch a self because the self is wrapped up in there. But eventually, let's say here, okay? Just do some basics. Let's say here, easy the eye has been good enough to where you catch, wait a minute, there's something else here. Okay, so here's the frame. Use the picture in the frame. Here's the frame, the self. Okay. I like glass for quite a while, piece of glass. Here's the glass, self. Okay. We should be prepared to have a sense of self as a circular field because it's all circular. This is circular. So it should be a field. Is that the right word? Field. But whatever form helps you at first with self. That what I'm looking forward to, and I need to spend more time also. Remember, I'm hitting you with some fairly new stuff. Even for me, I can remember, oh shit, I touched on that 20 years ago or 50 years ago. Didn't realize what it was or didn't invest enough in it. I didn't know how. But when we get to the stage where the communication of self to character and the benefit, self, help me out here. I'd like to progress. Boom. What do you suggest? And then you can pick up that much more clearly, and then you exercise with it, mix it, so to speak, and be that character. And then if you want to continue, fine, I really feel good as whatever. Next, could you help me continue? And it will, because as it grows, you have to grow. It's all part of one package. Space, self, character, qualities, the world you're in. Before I go too crazy, something I wanted to add. What was it? Oh, characters. So I use the Bobby Robert Nadeau pattern, sensei. Okay. But soon we bump into sort of a biggie as far as characters are concerned. You bump into an archetype characters. Okay. And archetype characters, just a continuation, but seems like they major in a quality. So one of my archetype characters is a Buddha wisdom thing. He's fairly constant, so I figure he's a regular. And its main lines are mainly on wisdom, calm wisdom kind of thing. A different archetype will kick in eventually here and show a different major quality. Okay. Where am I going? Okay, so archetypes along the way are important and important to experience them. Not just to think about, gee, Bobby thinking about, gee, I read in Psych 1A today about archetypes. What's my archetype? I don't think you're going to get it. Bullshit. You might get a little dribble of truth, but You open up to that level, past character to character to character to character. And in that more space next, it's a big jump in there where suddenly it's an archetype. Very good. Tells you really on the road in experiencing them. Okay. You'll each have your own archetypes. Figure you can get at least 2 fairly easy. Eventually 3 and 4 should kick in. We'll see. But the first couple ought to be kind of fun and fairly easy. You play. But that's a continuation of the character line. Okay. And there's something even past the 4 major archetypes eventually. That's I don't know what to call him. But it's getting towards the end of the road here, where there'll be one main character. Anyway, just pointing things out. You won't be able to do anything with that if you're still in your Bobby, Robert, Nadeau, I'm smart level. Again, it has to be experience. It has to be experience. But hopefully this stuff helps you move through faster and smoother. Let's see, for example, Noah in bumping into icky oil. I don't want to let that into my system. But he's learned the trick. Easy. It's not what it appears like. Let me settle and open some more. And I'm inferring this is a fine. I settle and open. And very soon it changed from icky to something that was, hey, it's a more fluidity in my system. It's feeding me. Then you begin to realize, wait, it's a quality. What's the quality? It mixes the enhanced character. You see, you learned a couple of tricks of the trade. You can move through this stuff kind of fast, much easier. Okay. See, by hearing my stories of sitting on a snake pit, for example, and saying, well, look, I did these simple settling opening tricks, and they begin to show their true colors. And they were beautiful spiraling energies coming from a beautiful source. Okay. But what if you didn't know any of this and you're a little heavier, I'd say dumber, and you're, oh shit, I was sitting there and I settled a bit and there's a bunch of snakes biting me and I'm supposed to sit here forever and sit on the snakes biting me? What a shame. What a shame. A couple little tricks, little knowledge, experience. We can move through a lot of this stuff much faster. Much smoother. Okay? We're running out. Somebody, let's finish this. Did I lose you too badly here tonight?
Sensei, Bob here.
Yeah.
Taking the storyline we're working on not to the present, but to this lifetime. I grew up in a Catholic family, and all the priests that we encountered, many of them said, yeah, you should be a priest. You would be a great priest. Then when I went through
said that to you, right?
Then I went through the ROTC program in the Air Force, and they said, no, you should be a fighter pilot. You would be a great fighter pilot. And in both of those cases, I knew that if that was self. I wouldn't have used that term at the time, but so now you've already done those things. You have to move along. You can do those things, but you've already done them, maybe done them many times. Time to move along.
Yeah.
So I paid attention to that.
Yeah. Yeah, we've probably been prodded like that through our lives. Because self is there, and even though it might be entwined a bit, there's enough times where it can send you a clear shot like, no, not that. Let's go here. You know, my feeling about when I decided to go to Japan, I knew I could stay in the States, California, continue training, the barbell gym, training the judo. I was going to visit other judo schools around the state. let them hit me with their best shots just to learn their stuff. Da-da-da-da. But as I sat, I was sitting a fair amount at that time. As I sat, it was like, yeah, I could, but I'd still be involved with the boys in blue, being a cop. I'd still be hanging out with the cops. They're a brotherhood, so you'd still be hanging out with them, even though I would have quit the police force to major in training. Anyway, just very clear. Yeah, you could, but let's do this instead. Let's go to Japan. Okay. And then a lot of little things happening to point the way. So self, even years ago, has been throwing stuff at you. And Bob is saying that, throughout his life, there's been times where, something told him, something prodded him. Yeah. I'm just saying, if we do this process right, we can get this really clear conversation, benefit from it. We can really move along. Yeah. That's my hopes. Before we finish, anything? We ran out of time here. That's it.
Thank you, Sensei.
Thank you. Take care. See you in, I forget the date, the 3rd. Friday.
The next date will be the 16th of February.
Okay. And I think maybe we should play with that, an easy approach to equality, and let's just get used to it. We touched on it before, but let's touch and try to have fun with it. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sensei.
Thank you, Sensei.
Thank you, Sensei.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Take care.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Laura.